he wants to introduce the video. What you got? Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. We're doing a video about early childhood education, not quite this young, but some of these games we could play with him. So anyway, we have stuff. Okay, so I'm going to preface this video with, we've had a really busy weekend, but I really wanted to get this video up. So if you see mess behind me, it's because we're packing to go see friends and family, and I had to do like 4 days worth of food and packing people and all of that stuff. And my day got away from me because it was beautiful outside, so we went outside and played for 2.5 hours. And so that was 2.5 hours I wasn't inside doing stuff. But this video is made specifically with 2 people in mind. One has a first grader who was looking for some ideas for not just sit down book work for that first grader, but I also know that this person has other children in the house that are younger. So these games are going to be things that you can play and you can adapt to the younger ones. And the other person I'm thinking about has twins. And so with twins, they're not always on the exact same level. So one might be knowing letter sounds while the other only knows letter names. One might be able to recognize numbers while the other can't yet. So I'm going to be talking about how to adapt these games so that you can do them with a variety of ages in your household. But they're really targeted at about 2 to 6 year old level, depending on the activity. So first thing we're going to talk about is like math games. So we brought some animals out, right? And so one big thing for kids to learn first, kids don't know how to read numbers first. That's not the first goal in getting them to learn math. One of the first things to do is to understand one-to-one correlation. So taking some animals, let's say we take these 3 animals and we set them down. They're probably not going to stand up on my bed, but set them down, and we give our children a counter of some sort. So maybe some Fruit Loops or Cheerios or rocks or something like that, and say, can you give each of the animals a piece of food? And so they learn that this one goes with this one and this one goes with this one. As they get a little older, you could ask them to do 2 or 3 pieces of food once they understand the concept of being able to count out 1, 2, 3. You also, you're going to get more for me, thank you. You also can have them hand you a couple. Can you hand me 2 animals? He's 2. This might not work well. Can you give me 2 animals? Thank you. Good job. I was going to do this video earlier today with some of the kids that I actually do these activities with, but because we were outside playing, we didn't get them done. But just doing that, understanding these numbers as you count them out loud, counting on your fingers. Another game we like to play, especially when we're like waiting at doctor's offices or things, is asking the little one. We did this with my 4-year-old the other day because we were waiting at a doctor's office, and I asked how many noses are in the room. And then I was able, because he was a little older, I was able to ask him.
Sorry, camera guy's gonna move.
I was able to ask him, if the doctor and nurse come in the room, how many noses will there be then? And he can understand the concept of there's going to be 2 more people here. But things that they can visibly see if they're a little younger, not able to get that concept yet. So how many shoes are in the room, and they can actually visually see the shoes and count them. We do that a lot of times with body parts because they come in 1s or 2s for the most part, and so you can ask those numbers, and you can ask the older kids. If you're doing it with older kids, you can ask, like this child that we were at the doctor's office with, he was not wearing a sock on one foot because we were going in to look at his broken ankle or broken tibia, and so I was able to ask him how many socks would there be, and it was kind of a trick question because he was wearing 1 less sock than normal. So thank you. So that's another game you can play. I saw this idea for a game. He's going to take all my pieces apart. Hold on, can I have my pieces together for a minute? So I saw this idea for a game the other day, setting up something like Magnetiles or something else you might have around the house. All of these things I'm mentioning, I'm trying to think of things you might either already have something like this around the house, or you could easily acquire it at Dollar Tree or, you know, Walmart, something where it would be fairly cheap to get these items. So anyway, so you put down 2 tracks and you put down 2 counters. I have another green counter. Where'd my counter go? Well, I'm gonna have to use animals. We got chickens, chicken and a rooster. And then using a dice, or you could even use a coin, and tails are 2 heads or 1, whatever it is, and you can roll the dice or flip the coin and then count that many squares forward. If you have a game, some little kid games that would do this would be like Chutes and Ladders of counting spaces. That just gets a little more complicated because then you have the chutes and ladders involved. But where you count one number at a time is really good counting for them because you can help them with the actual counting, but they're hearing the numbers and seeing that it goes with a space. You gonna play that? You can play it. Oh, good job. Good job. Oh, Naomi's gonna, here, you keep doing that. Naomi's gonna play cards with me. So we use cards a lot for kids. We're gonna do garbage. We do cards a lot for kids because it's very easy to have the numbers recognizable, even if kids don't quite know their numbers yet. You could take just the 1 through 4 out of the deck, all the 1s through 4, and have them make a pile of the ones that look like this go in the 1 pile, the ones that look like this go in the 2 pile. They might not recognize that that's a 2, but they're starting to recognize the shape of the number. But this game is not, he's not ready for this. Our 4-year-old can play this game. So I get to go first. So I'm going to take the 10 out of the pile and I'm going to put it in my 10 spot. So we have 10 spaces here. It goes in my 10 spot. I get to flip over my card and it goes in my 4 spot. And with a little kid, you can actually, we got to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip it over. In this game, jacks and queens are garbage. So that's why the game is called garbage. Naomi's a big kid and she can do it all by herself. So 6, again, you can count it out if the kids need it. I have a 5, can't play it, so it goes in the pile. She can pick it up. And then, if we get a king here, the king is wild and you can put it in any spot you want and you can switch it from spots if you choose to. Got an 8. I got a king, so I'm going to put it in my 1 spot. Oh, garbage. I'm showing you how I play with my little ones. Oh, don't need a 10. Don't need a 2.
Naomi only needs one more.
Naomi beat me, and so you go around one more time, and you can play this with up to 4 people. But you go around one more time, and oh, I got garbage. So Naomi won. Good job, Naomi. Good job.
Yay!
But that's a game you can easily play with little ones just to understand the idea of counting their spaces. Because even my little ones who can't recognize numbers yet, like our 4-year-old, before he could recognize the numbers, I could say, this is a 7, where's your 7th spot? And he could count to his 7th spot. Okay, so next thing, that was kind of like my math games. If you have more questions about any of the things that I'm saying, or you would like some more ideas, please write that in the comments. I just don't know how long or how involved people would like videos like this. So I'm trying to just give kind of a broad range of ideas of games to play with kids that are not just sitting down doing bookwork. So, next activity. Before kids are ready for reading and writing, they need to do some pre-writing activities, which are things to strengthen their hands and be able to move their bodies in ways. He's going to play with all my toys. So one of the greatest things is Play-Doh. I don't usually use Play-Doh on my bed, but I have a child coming. What child's coming? Hello?
Which one do you think?
Did you finish your puzzle? Yeah. Do you have a picture? Samuel, will you go get on my phone so you can take a picture for me? Okay. Him and his sister were working on a puzzle that they work on together. So Play-Doh is great for pre-writing because we're trying to strengthen the muscles in their hands before we ask them to pick up a pencil. It's not wrong for a child this age to pick up a pencil and try to draw. This could go dangerous. I'm going to take the Play-Doh, okay? You play with the other things. It's not wrong for them to pick up a pen or pencil to draw, but they're not going to be able to hold it correctly and with the right amount of strength needed until they've worked those muscles. So Play-Doh is great. You can make snakes with it, which is good for the muscles. You can make balls with it. And you can make it into shapes. As a parent, you can make it into, here's a letter C. And just introducing them to things. Like this right here. Oh, hold on. No, we're not going to do the book yet. This is Gideon. And so I can make a Gideon letter. There's a Gideon letter. Just for you. Another thing that is great for handwriting, pre-writing skills is, where are my scissors? Oh, right here. Cutting. And one of the easiest things to cut is Play-Doh. It gives no resistance, so that is a good skill. You want to supervise them when they have scissors, of course. But even the 2-year-old, he had a piece of paper the other day. I'm not giving you paper right now. You're on my bed. He had a piece of paper on the floor. Yes, thank you.
I see another one.
He had a piece of paper on the floor, and he was just like snipping little pieces off of
I
it.
still have a camera.
So with scissors, starting with like a Play-Doh roll like I just showed you, because they can even do it down on the table like this, to work on some of those muscles. Hold on, wait. Thin strips of paper. So if you were to take a paper like this and cut some strips, these are kid scissors, they're hard to use on big pieces of paper because they get stuck. But if you, hold on, you can't have it. It also is hard with a 2-year-old. But if you give them a piece of paper like this size, hold on, you can't have the scissors yet. They can easily snip pieces. Do you want some scissors to work with? Hold on, I'll give you scissors in just a second. And then also, you can take a piece of paper as they get a little bit better with the scissors, and you can draw either straight lines or curvy lines or, what are they called? I don't know. Zigzag lines, and have them follow the line with the scissors to see how close they can follow the line. It gets them working on directions. Do you want to cut some? Right here next to me, okay? Don't go anywhere. Okay. Some other pre-writing things. Hold on, let's put them on the right way. No, let go. That way. There we go. Is scooping. So giving them a box of beans or some flour, rice, something that you're okay with them getting maybe on the floor. Put them on a big sheet or something. But giving them in a bowl that, and having them scoop and pour into another bowl, that works the muscles in their wrist and their arm that also help with writing. Puzzles, having to manipulate the pieces to get them where they want. Starting little ones with, you know, the big chunky wooden puzzles that they put the piece in. But now my 4 and 6-year-old and 11-year-old love like 50-piece puzzles and can do floor puzzles. So, you know, asking the child, oh, look, we have this half a dinosaur here. Can we find the other half of a dinosaur? And talking them through how to see how the shapes connect. Lacing. So if you have, we have some like lacing cards that are like the shape of an animal with holes in it. And you lace with like a shoelace or like big clunky wooden beads and having them put them on a shoelace. That works all those fine motor skills. Gluing. So either with a bottle and glue stick to glue pieces of paper on another piece of paper. Even having them take these little chunks that they've made and gluing them on a piece of paper. Did your fingers get stuck? Here, let me help you. Let go for a second. Having them glue these on a piece of paper. Either using the bottle or glue stick as the actual glue. Or putting some glue on a piece of paper and giving them like a Q-tip or a paintbrush that they can paint it on. Blocks, being able to stack blocks, work on those muscles. And also when they do start writing, either giving them things to color, they're necessarily going to stay in the lines. I have a 4-year-old that can do most of these pre-writing activities I just told you, but he never stays in the line when he colors. But also doing activities where they make either X's or O's on a paper. Those are both easy shapes for them to make. And so maybe you write, you could play tic-tac-toe with them. Or maybe you write some circles and squares on a paper, some shapes that they know, and you ask them to put X's on all the squares, or whatever it is. How you doing? You good? You getting dangerous? Here, let me give you a bigger piece of
It's
paper.
getting a little short.
There you go. I wasn't expecting him to cut while I did the video. Okay, next one, teaching letter sounds. It is more important for your child to understand the sound that the letter actually makes than the name of the letter. So instead of your teaching your child A, teaching them, this says ah. Can you find the ah? One of our favorite videos for teaching this is what is that one? Letter
Sorry.
Letter
Factory
Factory.
by Leapfrog.
Yep.
Leapfrog Letter Factory. It goes through all the letters and it makes them say all their sounds. There are a couple letters that have some different sounds and like the vowels have different sounds, but focus on the short vowel sounds, so ah, eh, ah, and the main sounds of the other ones. Like C usually says cook. C usually says cook.
She does
Getting
know what
late,
she's talking
folks.
about.
It's been a long time. So C usually says cuh. So teaching them that one, and then you can teach them the exception later on. But if you teach them those basic sounds, they will learn the alphabet just through hearing the alphabet song, seeing all these things enough. Learning alphabetical order and learning their names isn't hard. It's the learning the sounds that are hard. So you keep going. So another way that we've introduced sounds to our kids is, like my sister is Holly. And so I remember Virginia as a little one coming up and saying, oh, I just wrote a Holly letter. And she always associated H with her Aunt Holly. Make sure that you're doing it by the name that you call the person. So don't say, this is a grandma letter, but you call Grandma Nana, and then they get all confused. But teaching them words that are associated with the sound you're trying to say. So one thing we do for little ones to learn these sounds is we will just start with 2 or 3 sounds. So let's say that I write A on one card, B on one card, and C on one card. And I set up like a little obstacle course. So climb over the chair and under the table and run down the hall and find the ah letter. And so I have them do that. And if they come back with the wrong letter, it's like, oh no, this one says b-b-b. Go down and find the ah letter. And just making it a game, letting them play. And if you have younger ones in the house, you can do this by having the older one get the letter, look for more letters. And like if I was going to play this with him also playing, I could put maybe a couple toys at the end of the hall, or maybe a picture of toys at the end of the hall, something like that, where he could grab something at the end of the hall that wouldn't necessarily be the letter. As your child gets a little better at that game, you can ask them to get the letter that would start the word apple, get the letter that would start the word dog, or you can have them get letters in a certain order that when they bring them back and set them down, they can spell a word. So go find the ah, and the p, tell them one at a time. Go get the when they come back with that, go get the ah. And then when they lay them out, they'll say, oh, it says map, map. And so that just gets kids up and running and involved in the game. But you can do that as they get older with like 2 letters together. So you could have at or it and have them go get those. Or you could even have whole words. Some kids are really motivated by being able to be up and running around and playing games. So that's for teaching letter sounds. And then the last section I wanted to talk about is reading. And I don't really think that it is, I can do a whole nother video on reading because I think that there's too much involved in putting letter sounds together. And some of my kids have gotten it really easily. My 4-year-old, just turned 4-year-old, is starting to understand how to put the letters together to be able to say map. I can give him those letters, put them down, he can read the word map for me. I've had other kids who really haven't gotten it till 7 or so. So I don't think it's an important skill to be flustered your kid isn't learning. I think it's more important to teach your child that learning is really fun. But again, I can do a video on reading if people want that. But ways to involve your child in reading are picture books. So I grabbed a couple of our favorites from the library right now. We got this one, which is by a local author named Debbie Atwell. And so just going through a book, like, yes, read it to your child at some point, but also just going through a book and looking at the pictures and asking children to see, what do you see in this picture? I see a chair that's a different color, well, actually 2 chairs that are a different color than the others. Can you find those? What do you think is happening in this picture? I see someone peeking out the door. Who do you think that is? And you can do this before you've read the book to introduce them to kind of just thinking through what they're seeing in a picture. Or you can do it after you've read the book to see if they remember what the story of the book is. Oh, why are they taking chairs away? What are they doing here? Do you remember what was happening at the end of dinner? And that type of thing. Another really good thing, this is another favorite author right now. Sorry. Is Down by the Sea with Mr. McGee. Author is Chris Van Dusen. He's local. But these are rhyming books. And so, depending on the age of your child, if you've read the book before and you have a little one, like my 2-year-old could probably do this because we've read this book this often, is if I read the book and leave out the last word of the rhyming part, the second part of the rhyme, he can probably tell me what the word is because we've done it enough. But if you have an older child who understands rhyming, they might be able to guess what's going on or what the next word is if they know that there's a word missing. But again, looking at picture books, seeing what's happening, can you explain what's going on here? Oh, I see a lobster in the picture, can you find it? All of those things are really good for just making kids aware of being able to like look at things around them and being able to take in details. That is something that children should be able to do, but how our society works and just kids being on screens, not being outside a lot, those types of things, sometimes they miss looking at details and things. They look at the big picture and not the details. So just getting them to focus on the details in something. So those are my quick things for teaching elementary, like very young, early education, I guess I would say. I wanted to get these up because I wanted these people to be able to have some resources, but we're going to be gone for the next few days and I won't have time to do another video like this. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a video about something else or just answer a question about something else. Or if you have other ideas of teaching type videos. I don't want to sit down and be, Miss Rachel on the thing where everyone comes and watches what Sarah teaching today. I want to encourage parents that they can teach their own children with things they already have around the house. So thank you for joining us on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. You
Bye.
looking away? You say bye? He's like, no, I want to see what's
Bye.
going on.
Wave. Bye.